Welcome, everyone. We are here to continue talking on the lessons of how to walk in the Spirit and what it means. And so I'm telling you stories after stories of how to walk in the Spirit by these stories that I'm telling you. And every one of them are absolutely real and true that I have personally experienced with the individuals of whom I'm speaking of. And so this is an extension of this lesson on walking in the Spirit or walking in the imagination. And so today I'm going to tell you about a man. His name is Spencer. And when I met Spencer several years ago, I would pass by his house all the time, and his home wasn't the best home. When you walked into his house, the floor was all uneven. There was wood panels, plyboard everywhere, and it's a trailer, and it was kind of, you wouldn't want to go into his house at the time. And one day, I was inside of his house with them talking. I said, yeah, I'm gonna share something with you, Spencer. And his wife was with him, so I was addressing both him and his wife. And I said, what is it that you want in this world? And at the time that we were talking, he was going on several months without an income. Both him and his wife, they were not working. They were struggling just to make ends meet. They had no money. They had only what they were receiving from aid, from the government or whatever. And so I said, I'm going to teach you something, both you and your wife. And I spent about 30 minutes there in his home. And I taught them how to use the imagination, how to use Jesus Christ. He is the power of salvation. He is the power of God unto salvation. He is the power of consciousness to save you out of any situation that you feel stuck in. He is salvation. He is power. So he says, I would like to have a good paying job. I want a new home. I want to sell my home. But he didn't even think that someone would want to buy his home. It was paid off. But he didn't think that anybody would want to buy it. That's how messed up this home was. It was a trailer. It was a trailer. I said, let's do it together. Now that I taught you how to do it, we're going to sit here together, you, your wife, and myself. We're going to do this together. And I brought Spencer up into my imagination. I brought his wife up into my imagination. And I dressed them both in my imagination. We closed our eyes. And again, this only takes about 45 seconds, maybe 60 seconds. And I said to Spencer in my imagination, not with my mouth, I said, Spencer, you look amazing today. You and your wife look absolutely amazing. And I said, you guys look so happy. You guys look so wonderful in your new home. You guys look so wonderful ever since you started your new job. And how wonderful it is to see you like this. I remember when you had nothing. I remember when you had absolutely nothing. Then I took a deep breath and I let it out. And as I did that act, they also did the act by pulling themselves up into their imagination. And bringing either his wife or someone else and congratulating on their new home, on their new job, on their new life. And then I told them, when you go to bed at night, although your body is sleeping in your bed here in this trailer, in your home now, in the new home that you are desiring to have, and that you have imagined this new home that you would like to have, put your imagination in that bed, in that room of that new house. And I told the lady, his wife, I said, listen, when you are cooking, imagine, although your body's here, use your imagination that you are actually cooking in your new kitchen. Well, again, a little over 4 months passed by. And he had, and again, as I began to pass by, I would see this sign up in his yard, for sale. Well, a little over 4 months passed, and I stopped by his house again. And I stopped him and I said, and when I looked at Spencer, remember, about 4.5 months have passed. 4 to 4.5 months. And I see the for sale sign there. And I pull into his driveway and he meets me outside. He walks outside and he says, I said, hey Spencer, you look amazing. And he did. He had jeans on. And mind you, when I saw Spencer before this time, he never would comb his hair. He never looked slick. He never looked happy. He looked always frustrated. When I saw him, he was glowing. His hair was combed. He had a white shirt on. He had his shirt tucked into his jeans. He looked absolutely happy. He was glowing. And when he saw me, he was smiling. And I said, Spencer, I said, man, you look amazing. I've never seen you like this before. He says, I said, I see the for sale sign. I said, you're selling your home? And he says, no. He said, I just sold it this past weekend. I said, you did? He says, yes. And they gave him, I don't know, I think it was between $40,000 and $45,000 for that trailer. Literally, that's what he got. And the trailer was paid off. So that was going to be all profit. And so they gave him between $40,000 and $45,000. And I said, well, what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? You sold your home. What's going to happen? He says, my wife and I both got jobs, and we've been working at the airport in, I'm not going to say where, but we've been working at this airport. And we got a new home, a brand new home. And I said, doesn't this work? I said, don't you put it to the test and it will work for you? I said, although it took, well, I mean, he got jobs like not too long after the Imaginal Act, but it did take around 4 months to literally sell his home. But for the final, for the completion of his entire vision, it took about 4.5 months. But we saw it for him, and he had been, prior to this point, prior to us doing these, putting our imagination to the test, putting this power of Christ, this power who is Christ, to the test, the ultimate test. Prior to this, he had been living years under those terrible circumstances of not a job here and a job there, a job here and a job here, and just never getting ahead in life. But here, we were able to take two people, one couple, and enhance their life in the most beautiful, beautiful way. Sold his home, got a brand new house, both him and his wife working at the same place, making wonderful income together. And he looked amazing. When I saw him the last time, he was amazing. He looked glowing. He was happy because his life changed. I want to see your life change. I want to see you enhance your life. Well, so this I'm just sharing these stories with you so that these are teaching you this is what you do when you're walking in the Spirit. These are acts that you perform because you are walking in the Spirit. You can't do this because you're looking from these two eyes. All of this work is done because I am walking in the Spirit. And I'm sharing this life with you, the life that I have lived, so that you can live this way as well. Living in the Spirit or walking in the Spirit, I enjoy seeing and experiencing the life-changing power, the creative power in the life of people. To see that is what the call to be a Christian is really about in Scripture. To be Christ-like, or to imitate, Paul says, to imitate God. Well, if you don't know how to imitate God, you can't imitate Him. Well, how do you imitate Him? Well, divine consciousness, who is God, the Scripture says He calls a thing that is not seen as though it is seen. So we call something into existence and we see it in our imagination, although these two eyes cannot see it as yet. It can't confirm it yet. But we are seeing it up here. And He is the power to create the life of which we imagined it already done because it was done from up here. All right, so I'm going on 12 minutes. So I'm going to end this session and we'll jump on into another session, share another story with you on walking in the Spirit. I love you. Peace out.